Plants vs. Zombies 2 Alternate Universes released their brand new world, Crimson Front, like 2 weeks ago. I'm a little late, honestly. This is an entirely new custom world built from the ground up. And by that, I mean it has nothing from original PVZ 2 that was already made. Everything in this world is entirely new, and it's kind of crazy. To the art, to the music, everything in this world is just gorgeous. And today I want to talk about it, even if I'm 2 weeks late. So let's begin, shall we? Crimson Front is an entirely new world created by Altvertz and is a war-themed world. Now, I've known for a while that there have been many concepts and fan arts of a war-themed world for Plants vs. Zombies 2 in the community for quite a while. Including me, I even had one, except I'm not the best artist. And we finally got one, and it's in Altvertz, and I think they executed it perfectly, honestly. First, I want to mention the music. The music just, I don't know, it just screams Garden Warfare for me, with like the zombies versus plants, you know what I mean. The music just heavily reminds me of Garden Warfare, with also the jazz in it. It's just beautiful. The soundtrack is amazing, honestly, and I love how they use moon grains for the final wave. It's really epic, honestly. Second is the art. The art is obviously amazing. The background, or lawn, is just incredible looking. Like, look at this. It looks so beautiful. And there's also a nighttime version in the files as well that's only used for custom levels, which is fair, I guess. The art for the zombies and plants are really good, also with the animations that are really smooth. Just everything looks nice. I'm not going to touch on it that much because I don't need to say anything else. It's just incredible. Now let's talk about the zombies. First you have the basic Conehead and Buckethead as usual, but then you have the Steelhead zombie, which I thought was just a night zombie for this world, but apparently it's even tankier than the night zombie. But there's also a Brickhead variant, which has a nuke on his head. That probably feels really nice to have on your head, definitely. Then on day 2, you meet the Nurse zombie, who throws syringes on the ground that heal zombies in a 3x3 area, which can be annoying if you don't deal with the syringe in time, but usually they're pretty easy to kill, honestly. And soon after that, you meet one of the first machines in this world, the Landmine zombie, who is probably one of the biggest pains if you don't deal with him that quickly. He basically throws landmines on the ground and will destroy any plant in front of him. Unless it's a walnut, then it'll take a little bit to destroy. But he's really annoying. So, like, he can still eat stuff, but you just gotta plant it right on top of him before he places a mine down. And apparently he only places mines down if there's a plant in that lane. He's not the biggest pain at the start of the world, but when you get into the EX levels, they're gonna be such a big pain in your ass. Then a classic zombie you may know of returns if you played Garden Warfare, Foot Soldier. He doesn't actually shoot his gun, but he is really annoying. He basically just throws smoke grenades on the ground to block your view, and it kind of is really annoying when you can't see where every zombie is, especially on a certain level with flowers. Yeah, it's gonna be very annoying. He also eats through your plants quicker because he doesn't actually eat the plants. He slaps them with his gun, because that's just works, I guess. It's not like you can just shoot it or anything, I'm just saying. Then soon after you meet the Foot Soldier, you'll meet one of the most annoying enemies in this world. One of the most annoying. The Z-Tanks. Now, I don't know who keeps giving the imps permissions to drive these vehicles, because I swear they drove a Gargantuar, have their own mech in Garden Warfare, and now they're driving a tank. Who's giving these guys this stuff? Besides Zomboss. I mean, why Zomboss? The Z-Tanks are very tanky enemies, and will specifically shoot a missile at lane 4, 5, and 6 every 15 seconds, or I think it's 16 seconds actually. And they're very tanky and hard to deal with if, you know, you don't have explosives or anything. They are very slow though, which probably makes up for it, but, you know, they're just annoying as shit. Then we have the Gargantuar, which is the General Gargantuar. He's just a regular Gargantuar, but a general in the zombie army, I guess. Except the only thing new is that the imp he throws just explodes, because it's a grenade. Yay. And you meet the gas mask basic zombies, which are basically immune to a whole bunch of effects. Like, for example, they're immune to stun, and they're immune to ice, which is just great. They do become a problem if you decide to try and slow down the zombies with ice plants, but they're really just regular zombies, just immune to more stuff, which makes them a little bit annoying. To me, at least. But they can become a problem if you let them be. Next zombie, which I don't even know if I'm going in order anymore, but I'm not trying to in the first place, is the paratrooper zombie. They're basically like the parachute zombies from Lost City, except they fall on the ground this time instead of just hovering above plants. And if you don't kill them in 7 seconds, they will get up and a backpack will crush that plant that was originally sitting there, and you'll destroy the black backpack to place there. They are really annoying because they can ruin your setup. They also walk the other way, so they can, if you have anything forward more, then they can also ruin that as well. But other than that, they're not the biggest problem if you can kill them in time. And lastly, the final new zombie is the gas mask General Gargantua. Now, he doesn't appear in the almanac for some odd reason. It's just the Gargantua from this world, but he's immune to stun and stuff, which, since he's a Gargantua, can be a problem, because you can't, like, stall him. The only way you can stall him is if you have a certain plant, like Primal Walnut or something. You can't, like, actually freeze him or stall him or anything. So, he's a pretty big deal if you don't have enough stuff to kill it without, like, using explosives. And there's also a gas mask grenade imp. I don't know why they gave him it, because he's just gonna explode when he reaches a plant anyways, or gets thrown onto one. I don't even know why they gave him a gas mask in the first place. And that's it for all the new zombies. Now let's go over the plants. The first plant we have is Sky Shooter. You unlock it after day 1 of Crimson Front, and it's actually a really strong first plant in my opinion. It costs 250 stun and has a 15-second recharge time and does 40 damage. But the thing is, first of all, if you click it, it can turn into a Gatling and shoot peas rapidly. I think they're peas at least. It shoots projectiles rapidly at the zombies, and after that it has to cool down for a minute like coconut cannon. But also the thing is, if some zombie tries to eat it, it will instead throw a bomb at it, or just leave a bomb, that does 400 damage in a 3x3 area. It's a really strong first plant, but definitely not probably the best for this world, considering the amount of ice blocks that block projectiles unless you're using catapult or something. So, definitely useful in other worlds. But the thing is, it can also be planted on tides in Big Red Beach, since it's flying, obviously. So, you know, that's neat. The next plant you unlock after day 3 is Dill Sergeant. It costs 125 sun and has a 15-second recharge as well. But the thing is, what it does is it basically boosts every single plant that has a projectile in a 3x3 area, which basically boosts their projectile damage. Yeah, that's really it. He's actually really good though, especially when combined with Apple Mortar, like any catapult honestly, because catapults are really good in this world. The next plant you unlock is after day 5, which is the Peregrine. It's basically a walnut, but first of all, it has a 125 sun cost, and has a 30-second recharge, but also shoots stunning projectiles that stun any zombies in front of it, as long as they're not gas mask zombies. It has the same toughness as an Endurian, or, you know, an Endurian and Primal Walnut. I couldn't think of it for a minute. It's really good, honestly, and it also shoots even faster when it gets more damaged. It's pretty useful for this world, considering the amount of fast enemies there are. Talking about landmine zombie, by the way. I hate that thing. Also, it has a range of 2.5 tiles. It's a really good plan, honestly, and I suggest using it for this world, specifically due to how much happens, especially with the weather changes, which I'll get into that soon. Next, we have the security guards, which were apparently from Penny's Pursuit, I guess. So first, it starts off with a small squash that does 500 damage. Then another medium-sized squash, I think, that does 1000 damage. And the last one that does 1500 damage. And it's in a 2x1 area, costs 125 sun with a 30-second recharge. Now, let me explain. First stomp is instant, second and third occur 10 and 20 seconds later. So it's actually really good for fighting against slow enemies since they can actually take more than one hit. And also dealing with a giant group of zombies as well. Really good plant, honestly. Then the next plant you may know from regular PVZ2, Apple Mortar. Apple Mortar has been like a severely weak plant in my opinion, I think. No, I don't think it's just my opinion. It's been weak in the regular PVZ2 unless you had a master, I guess. But I like how Altvertz actually has it pretty powerful in this mod. First of all, it costs 600 sun. Damn. And it has a 60-second recharge. But it does 80 damage and 40 splash damage. It's really good, honestly, especially combined with Dilsart. It's a really good plant, and works really well with the zombies in this world, honestly. Like, I've used it many times already in the levels, just because of how good it is. For once, Apple Mortar is actually good. Also, I forgot to mention, you unlock it after level 8. The next plant is Carrotillery from Plants vs. Zombies 2 China Edition. It has a 375 sun cost and 30-second recharge while doing 250 damage. And also does 250 splash damage as well in a 3x1 area. Carrotillery is basically a coconut cannon. You have to tap it to activate, and it will shoot carrots in some area where the zombies are and actually do a lot of damage. Now, personally speaking, I still like coconut cannon better, but it's a good plant. It's also really good to avoid ice blocks in this world as well. Also, you unlock it after level 11, or EX1. Next is Pomegranate. You should all know what Pomegranate is, right? If you've played regular PVZ2 at least. It costs 200 sun and has a 60-second recharge time. But the thing is, after exploding, it leaves exploding seeds in a 3x3 area that do 700 damage. Which is a lot, actually. Pomegranate's really good as well for this world, for, you know, dealing with a huge horde of zombies, but it's also good in, like, literally any world, honestly, because it's an instant plant. I like Pomegranate, which you also unlock after level 13. And the last plant you unlock in this world is Poppin' Poppies, which has a sun cost of 100 and recharge time of 30 seconds. And basically, this is from PVZ Heroes. And in this mod, or Plants vs. Zombies 2 Altvertz, you place it on top of a dead plant, and it will spawn little buddies who are basically as tough as a mini walnut, because they have 1000 health each. It plants a little buddy on any defeated plant. And it's really useful, especially for how little sun and recharge time it costs. Now, it's only if you actually lost a whole bunch of plants, but it's really useful, honestly. And you unlock it after level 16. Now let's get to the main part of this world, shall we? The mechanics. The mechanics are weather conditions, and they make this world really unique compared to any other custom world I've seen in a mod so far, a PVZ2. Now, first of all, before you start any level when choosing your seeds, it will tell you the weather conditions that are going to happen in this level in the bottom right corner of your screen. And also, these two things at the bottom of your screen, which have been in the background of this video for a while, will tell you certain temperatures and stuff. So the plant radio, I think this is a radio, I'm pretty sure it is, tells you the temperature. And the zombie thingy, I don't know what this is, but it tells you the weather. So let's start off with the temperature, shall we? Now let's start off with the beneficial one. And we're not going to talk about how the train's on fire right now, which is exactly what I'm getting to. The first temperature is hot. All it does is really just drops a few sun out of the sky. A few more than usual, which is pretty useful, honestly. And I also want to mention really quickly, throughout the level, the temperatures actually get progressively more aggressive the later on you go with the zombie horde. And so we're going to talk about that as well. So the aggressive version, I'm going to call it, for the temperature of hot, just gives you more sun. straightforward, actually. And next temperature is cold, which is why the train is now freezing as shit and is not on fire anymore. How does this work? Now, cold temperature is a bit of a problem because it spawns ice barricades on the lawn, which are pretty tanky to kill. Which is why I also said that straightforward shooting plants aren't the best for this world, since it blocks a lot of shots to hit the zombies, and you know, that could be pretty bad when you have fast zombies like Landmine or Gargantuars or tanks. But honestly, you can deal with tanks before they even get there. Tanks are annoying though. I hate them. I mean, you could deal with the tanks as long as you have an explosive. If you don't, then your straightforward shooting plants gotta kill that ice barricade quicker, otherwise he's gonna get pretty far in your defense. And the more aggressive version of the cold temperature just also spawns more ice barricades. Really simple, actually. Now, but done with the temperature, and the train looks back to normal. I think I'm gonna exit this train now. I've been in here for like a while, actually. Let's move on to the weather conditions, which are more sided on the zombie side, honestly. So first, we've got rain and lightning. So basically, the lawn will start raining, and lightning will strike on the ground, and the first lightning is just blue. It will buff any zombie in that lane and nowhere else, which is where the more aggressive version comes in, which is even worse. It summons red lightning and boosts zombies in a 3x3 area, and it can be pretty bad, especially with certain tanky zombies already, like tanks or gargantuars or fucking landmine zombie. Though he's not the most painful thing to deal with when hit with the lightning, he just becomes insanely more fast. I highly suggest bringing explosives or pomegranate if you have it unlocked, that is, though. Probably not yet, since it's in EX levels. Because I'm talking about when you actually encounter these, not like later in the game. Just bring Cherry Bomb or something. Or Grape Shot. Grape Shot works really well in this world to get rid of the ice barricades. The last weather condition is wind. Wind boosts the zombies a lot, and don't play this world on fast forward speed. You're not gonna keep up. At least I'm not gonna keep up. I mean, like, look at this shit. Look how fast they are. And I'm pretty sure the more aggressive version of the wind makes them even faster. Which is why in the last level of this world, Gargantuars are going across the lawn very quickly than they normally would. Combine this with lightning, and it's pretty bad, honestly. Now, one thing to note, weather conditions cannot combine together, at least. Let me explain really quick. Ice and hot cannot come together. I'm pretty sure lightning and wind can come together, but like certain stuff like ice and thunder, or something like hot and windy, certain stuff like that can happen. And it makes this world pretty difficult, especially if you're not the greatest at playing vs. Zombies 2 or tower defense games in general. I think this world is amazing, and the difficulty as well. I think this world is probably one of the most hardest Altvertz worlds so far, or at least the most difficult, not like the hardest. If you're good at tower defense games, I think you stand a pretty good chance against this world. But if you're not, then I think you may struggle way more than I did, at least. Now, a few more things I forgot to talk about. First is the bombs, or nukes, I guess, on your side. The second to last, no, the last level before the first boss, which is level 10, the mini boss with like the Gargantua statue, that one. Level 9 will introduce these tiles with a nuke on it, and if you press it, it launches a nuke down from the sky onto that tile, which is honestly pretty useful for dealing with hordes of zombies. And I didn't even know this when I was playing the world, but you can actually plant through these tiles and it'll summon multiple bombs in that area, which is very useful, honestly. And then in the EX levels, you unlock something, or not unlock. In the EX levels, you find something new, the turrets, because it cannot be a war world without turrets, obviously. Basically, there's these empty turrets on the lawn, claimed by nobody yet, so you gotta claim them. And it tells you to use Celery Stalker, which is actually very good at getting these up and running on your side. Basically, if you attack the turret enough, it will turn around and shoot the zombies. But if the zombies claim the turret before you do, then the turret will turn around and start shooting at your defense, which can be very bad, considering the amount of zombies that can already destroy your defense in this world, like tanks and landmine zombies. How many times have I mentioned those zombies? I just have a grudge against them, honestly. Anyways, here's some gameplay in the background. This is a very good example of what happens when you don't have the greatest defense and how it can ruin it very easily. I was playing the Endless Zone for some footage for this video, right? Look at this level. I lost very quickly, honestly. Because look how many turrets there are. You can also not place anything on the turrets. So if a turret turns around when a zombie claims it, I suggest putting a walnut in the back of it so it cannot hit any of your other plants. You know, because you kind of need them. And that's really it for the mechanics, actually. I'm going to talk about a few levels in this world, but I'm not going to talk about every single level, my experience with them. I still really like this world, but I'm going to talk about some of the levels I struggled with or find really nice and interesting. Now, there are some things I want to recap on. I want to talk about a few levels that I really liked and cool, and so I'm going to do it in a very short period of time. Level 5 and 15 are Zombotany levels, which Zombotany returns in this world. And, you know, introduces some regular zombies from the original Zombotany, like Pea Shooter Head or Walnut Head. There are also some new ones, like Fat Beat and Caratillery, but also Sky Shooter, who is very dangerous. Next is level 10. At the end of level 10, which is the first boss, this random thing comes out of the sky and absolutely obliterates the lawn, you could say. And you time travel into the future where you see the grim reality of Crimson Front, where everything is ruined and destroyed as the war continues on. And the music and tone just changes during this part, and I find that really cool, honestly. Level 19. I struggled with this level a lot, and it took me an hour and maybe almost 2 hours to beat. This level is where you can't let the zombies trample the flowers, but also don't spend sun for a certain time, which is two things that are really evil to put together. It also sends zombies like landmines, tanks, and gargantuars too, which make this level even harder for me. This level took a while, and I only beat it using self-shooting plants like Banana Launcher, so you can kill the zombies and do a lot of damage while you don't spend any sun. I barely beat this. Last level is level 20. Level 20 looks a bit different than the rest, and that's because all weather effects are happening at once. I'm not joking. You can have hot, then cold, then lightning, wind, and you can't even tell what the weather is. The radio and Zombotany or whatever, temperatures have question marks on them because you can't tell what the weather effects are. So, I've enjoyed this level a lot, especially the Zombotany theme. I've enjoyed it a lot so much that I've had it playing in the background for a long time now in this video. And that's all. Crimson Front was an amazing experience, and I cannot say any more of how crazy and peak this world is. Thanks for watching. CapCut was being a bitch editing this at the end, but I'm not gonna care because I'm not using CapCut again. Zomboss, I'm going home.